If you thought that 2020 was a bad year for celebrities, then 2021 brought us a lot of new surprises. We learned that Armie Hammer might enjoy the taste of human flesh from time to time, and Chrissy Teigen enjoys bullying people. Speaking of, in at number 10, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy Teigen has been all over the news as of late because of a scandal regarding past messages that were sent out privately through DMs. Along with that, she also left Twitter blaming its toxic cycle for putting her in a bad mood, but then out of nowhere she was just back and tweeting up a storm again. That is until those tweets and private messages to Courtney Stodden began to emerge. Then she went quiet again and then returned only to give a forced apology. Chrissy used to be beloved on Twitter for going after controversial celebrity figures, but now the script has flipped on her entirely. After this weak apology to save her sponsorship deals, Chrissy's image has slowly shifted from savior to get her out of here. She even had the audacity to say that she had apologized to Courtney Stodden, but in reality she had blocked her months ago. Coming at number 9, Gabby Hanna. Jessie Smiles had released a YouTube video where she accused her former friend Gabby Hanna of associating with her terrible ex-boyfriend Curtis Lepore. Gabby repeatedly denied having any involvement with Curtis, and at the time of the story breaking, she claimed in a BuzzFeed article that she and Curtis had only met once. Turns out this was false. In the conversations with Jessie, Gabby admitted to interacting with him on 3 separate occasions. Gabby said that when her and Jessie were going back and forth online, Curtis ended up FaceTiming her, and she said that the only reason that she picked up was because she didn't have his number saved. The second incident took place at an event where, again, Gabby said that Curtis approached her to take a selfie, but then that she refused said selfie. The last interaction between Gabby and Jessie's problematic ex took place during a party at 1600 Vine. He showed up at this party because friends of his were also attending, which is why Gabby was accused by Jessie of supporting and hanging out with his friends. According to Gabby, he showed up, pulled her to the side, and tried to speak with her about what happened with Jessie. However, when Jessie tried to interject because Gabby had previously denied this meeting at all, Gabby just ended up snapping and yelling about how she was allowed to have friends and collaborate with others.
You admitted to it.
People who knew Curtis, I think I was at Lele. We all lived in the same building.
Yes, and he showed up and pulled you to the side.
Guess what? I am allowed to have friends. I'm allowed to collaborate. I can't cut everybody out of my life.
Needless to say, Gabby Hanna lost a ton of fans after getting exposed for lying like this. Coming at number 8, Justin Timberlake. Following the Framing Britney Spears documentary, Justin Timberlake faced a ton of backlash. The majority of people accused him of sexism and misogyny in regards to his former girlfriend Britney Spears. In response to the outpouring of Britney fans, Justin Timberlake did issue an apology on his Instagram page, but it really didn't feel genuine to anyone. A big part of 2021 was the Free Britney movement, and so as a result, whomever crossed her in the past was going to get exposed this year as her lawyer Matthew Rosengard finally had her conservatorship terminated. As for Justin Timberlake, he certainly will still have a career, but those Free Britney supporters are now going to be a thorn in his side. Coming at number 7, James Charles. James Charles released an apology video in response to the allegations that he had exchanged inappropriate messages with underage people. Typically in a James Charles apology video, he shifts the blame from himself to someone else, but James full-on admitted to his mistakes in this one. He admitted to having engaged in a flirtatious conversation with 2 16-year-olds, once from last year and again just recently, which was exposed all over TikTok. Although he is still standing by the defense that he believed that both people were 18 years old at the time. However, if we are going to be transparent with James Charles' intentions, then I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this apology came after he was replaced on the YouTube TV show that he co-created called Instant Influencer. With repeated allegations of inappropriate sexual behavior, it's safe to say though that most people just want to see James Charles quit YouTube. Coming at number 6, Kyle Massey. In 2021, we learned that actor Kyle Massey was facing a felony for allegedly sending, let's call it, rated R material to a 13-year-old girl that he knew. TMZ also obtained some legal documents that show he was charged with one count of communication with this person for immoral purposes. The incident in question is believed to have taken place between December 2018 and January 2019, and apparently it is also connected to a civil suit as well that took place back in March of 2019. At that time, Massey was being sued for $1.5 million for allegedly sending a lot of R-rated content via Snapchat. However, in response to that civil suit, he claimed that he was actually being extorted. According to court documents, Massey was scheduled to appear for his arraignment in King County Criminal Court in Washington, but failed to show up. Coming at number 5, Shia LaBeouf. If you recall, FKA Twigs had sued the actor for causing all kinds of emotional and physical distress during their relationship. In addition to this, several other women have also come forward accusing Shia of similar problematic behavior. In the wake of the lawsuit by Miss Barnett, it was reported that Shia had started receiving inpatient care. Variety magazine also reported that he had decided to part ways with his acting agency CAA because he needed to take a break from acting to get help. This lawsuit, by the way, covered the allegations from both FKA Twigs and his other ex-partner Carolyn Foe. According to them, Shia LaBeouf is much more dangerous and unstable than we ever thought. FKA Twigs would later share her story with the New York Times and say, "What I went through with Shia was the worst thing I've ever been through in the whole of my life. I don't think people would ever think that it would happen to me, but I think that's the thing. It can happen to anybody." Now, in response to this lawsuit and the allegations, Shia said, "I'm not in any position to tell anyone how my behavior made them feel. I have no excuse for my alcoholism or aggression, only rationalizations. I have been abusive to myself and everyone around me for years. I have a history of hurting the people closest to me. I'm ashamed of that history, and I'm sorry to those I hurt. There is nothing else I can really say." Coming number 4, DaBaby.
Special 2. Who the f*** threw that motherfucker? Busted ass goddamn Adidas.
Rapper DaBaby faced a ton of backlash after a video of him making homophobic comments at a music festival went viral. DaBaby claimed he was trying to keep it real as he asked the audience to put their cell phone light up in the air and then began shouting a number of homophobic comments. DaBaby, whose real name is Jonathan Lindale Kirk, was getting canceled by Twitter after he made these homophobic remarks, as well as for bringing up really controversial rapper Tory Lanez on stage. At the end of his performance, he said, "If you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, or any of them deadly STDs, that'll make you die in 2 to 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighter up. Ladies, if your coochie smells like water, put your cell phone lighter up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking D in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighters up." And as you can see in that image there, that I had to use a few different words than what he actually said there because YouTube would demonetize us in a heartbeat, but you get the gist of why he lost everything in 2021. Coming number 3, Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner being in attendance at the Astroworld Festival during all of the mayhem was one thing. However, the single moment that ruined her career, in our opinion, was when she uploaded a video of an ambulance trying to make its way through the crowd. That video was deleted soon after she realized the severity of the situation, but at that point, it was pretty much the beginning of the end. Now, she really can't even post anymore on her main Instagram page without getting some sort of extreme backlash or 1,000 articles written about it. But, I mean, it's certainly going to take a hit to her Kylie brand because she requires that page to continue posting and advertising. So really in 2021, we may see the downfall of Kylie Jenner, or we may have seen the downfall of Kylie Jenner. In at number 2, Armie Hammer. Details emerged regarding the actor's bizarre fetish, and these claims came directly from an ex-girlfriend of his. Paige Lorenz, a 22-year-old Instagram model and former girlfriend of Armie Hammer, exposed the shocking new details regarding their relationship. During her interview, Paige said, "I had bad bruises all over me when we were together. I was left with marks from him using a paddle. I was his own real-life Christian Grey fantasy. There were teeth marks and bite marks all over me. He was completely obsessed with biting me. He told me, 'Be proud,' as they were just love bites. Once he said, 'If you did not tell me to stop, I would eat a piece out of you.' And he was serious too. It was like he actually wanted to eat my flesh away." And in a statement of response, Hammer's lawyer said, "These assertions about Mr. Hammer are patently untrue. Any interactions with this person or any partner of his were completely consensual in that they were fully discussed, agreed upon, and mutually participatory. Aside from that, the only thing that Armie has said about these claims is that they are BS. And I don't know about you, but they seem true. It's too creepy. There was actual leaked DMs, so I don't know. You let me know in the comments down below what you believe. Coming in at our number 1 spot, Travis Scott. The Astroworld Festival was meant to be a celebration of Travis Scott and his favorite park in Houston. However, this year's celebration turned into a tragedy which turned to be the downfall of his career. After proper safety protocols were ignored and Travis egged on a crowd of 50,000 fans to rush the stage, a crowd surge happened which then resulted in 10 concert goers losing their life. In addition to that, hundreds more were severely injured, and now there have been at least 100 lawsuits filed against Travis Scott, Drake, and Live Nation. That one moment of him ignoring the obvious signs that the crowds were getting out of control led to all of this and truly kicked off the downward trajectory of Travis Scott's career. But you let me know how you're feeling in those comments down below because that's all the time that we have for today. So stay classy, and I'll see you on the next one.